Hello, members of Speech 1318 Online, otherwise known as Speak Up. Hey, how are you doing? It's me, Patrick. I'm here with your very last and final video lecture. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? No more video lectures for the rest of your life, at least for me. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. I don't have any funny little toys, although I did get this really cool ring. It's like a pumpkin, but that's really not have anything to do with what I'm going to talk about today because I'm going to try to keep this short so that you can move on with the rest of your homework. Uh, there are four components to emotions according to our textbook. So let's talk about these four components. The first is that emotions are multi-dimensional. This has four parts. So really, even though I said you only have four parts, you really have seven parts because the first part has four subparts. So this is something that you'll need to know and remember. Emotions are multidimensional. What that means is, number one, emotions are physiological, meaning that emotions have some kind of a physical effect on your body. When you are excited, your heart starts to beat faster. If you're nervous, you might start to sweat. These are physiological reactions. Emotions are also cognitive, meaning that you think about emotions, they happen up in your brain, and you have some kind of a thinking about them. So maybe your heart's beating faster, and you're starting to think about, hey, my heart's beating faster, and that must mean I'm feeling some kind of emotion. Emotions are also behavioral, which means that they create behaviors for you. So you maybe are sweating. You're thinking, "Hey, I'm sweating, and maybe I'm nervous," and then you cause a behavior. You start to look around you because you're wondering why maybe you're nervous. So you create a behavior. Maybe you run away. Maybe you hug somebody. Maybe you start jumping up and down. Those are behaviors. And finally, emotions are social and cultural. Some emotions are pretty much inherent in all cultures, but some are very specific to specific cultures. So the book gives a great example of, if you were to eat something uh, that you think is really good in another culture might be totally disgusting, or vice versa. So in some parts of the world, it's absolutely acceptable to eat bugs. In fact, it's a delicacy. But when we think of eating bugs, we probably have some kind of an emotional reaction like disgust or, ew, that sounds nasty. So those are the four ways that emotions have different dimensions. And again, to recap, those emotions are physiological, cognitive, behavioral, and they are social and cultural. So those are those four. Second, emotions vary in valence and intensity. Uh, Emotions vary in valence. What that means is that they are either good or bad, positive or negative. If it's a positive emotion, that is a positive valence. If it's a negative emotion, it's a negative valence. So positive might be happy, excited, proud, and negative might be sad, angry, or disappointed. So those are the valence. The intensity is how much you feel that emotion, is if it's really strong or not very strong. So if you're really, really excited because you just won $1 million, you'd probably have a really strong intensity, and that would be a positive valence. If you are really sad because you just lost your job, it's probably also a very strong intensity and a negative valence. So perhaps something really minor like, oh, you got a bad grade on a quiz, chances are that's not a very strong intensity. It's probably a minor intensity and a negative valence. So these are types of things that come out of valence and intensity. The third one is that emotions come in primary and secondary forms. And I really like how the book discusses this, and that there's primary and secondary colors. And the primary colors make up all of the secondary colors. And so emotions have been identified, several emotions that are pretty much universal across cultures and make up all of the other emotions that we feel. So we have things like happiness, sadness, anger. These are joy, surprise, fear, disgust. Those are all what we call primary emotions. And all other emotions derive from those emotions. So jealousy and envy and things like that come from these other emotions because they're a mixture of emotions. So as we can see, emotions come in primary and secondary forms. The final component of emotions is that emotions can be what we call meta emotions. Whenever you put the word meta in front of something, it really means to talk about something in a larger way. So when we talked about meta communication, I think we might have talked about this earlier in class, but if we didn't, what meta communication is communicating about communicating. What this is right now is meta communication because I'm communicating to you about communication. Meta emotion is having an emotion about an emotion. So if you're really happy because you just got a great job, but you're also ashamed of yourself for being happy because your best friend did not get that job. That's a meta emotion. The feeling ashamed because you're happy is called a meta emotion. Now, we're feeling meta emotions all the time. It's called, we might say we have mixed feelings about something. Generally, those are meta emotions. They're feelings about feelings. Uh, Perhaps you're really sad and you feel guilty about being sad. Or perhaps, again, happiness, a lot of times we feel guilty about feeling happy. So these are types of things that arise from meta emotions. So once again, we have the four components of emotions. First, that emotions are multidimensional, and we talked about the four subcategories there. Second, emotions, uh, lost my train of thought. Emotions have valence and intensity. Third, emotions come in primary and secondary flavors, if you will. And fourth, that emotions can be meta emotions. And that is all of that part of the chapter in just 6 minutes and 27, 28, 29 seconds. And as you can see, we're done. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. And I'll catch you in the reruns. Bye.